what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to our Koalafied podcast here. You have me, Tone.
What's going on, everybody?
And we got a very special guest here. We have Simon from Unvoila from Chile.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys?
Simon. I am so excited to have you here with us today. Obviously, we spent a lot of time together before, but we've never done my podcast together.
I made it to your podcast, guys.
I know.
Thank you.
But
finally.
We just started this, so you're actually our second guest star we've ever had.
Right on. What an honor. Thank you so much.
Very big honor. We were honored to have you here. Simon, tell us a little bit about, you're from Chile, but recently I found out you have a wide background on places you've lived, you've traveled. Can you tell us a little bit about that so our audience can learn a little more about you?
Yeah. Well, my name is Simon, or Simon is the translation in Spanish. I was born in Chile, so in the very end of the world. It's quite far. But I've always liked to travel since I was very young. Like the same time I started actually smoking was the first time I started backpacking.
How old were you?
I was 15 turning 16.
Okay.
So,
that's a solid age.
Yeah, it's not recommendable, but not too bad.
Yeah,
I wasn't like a kid.
I feel like that's expected to be like,
It's the same time you start experimenting, right?
Yeah.
So but that was for me. It was like a lot of outdoor activities. I would like to go on hikes and backpacking, and that's how it started. And then 2 years after that, I became an exchange student. So I moved to Finland, because I wanted to go as far as possible, but I wasn't brave enough to go to Japan because,
that's far, and that's a totally different type of culture.
I mean, that's hard.
Yeah, I went to school in Finnish. It was insane. Like I was really bad.
Finish it.
I was already bad at math, so imagine like trying to get instructions in Finnish. So it was insane, but I had a blast.
Did you have to prep for the language at all, or did you just go in there raw?
Dude, these bands like metal. The Finns are big on metal, right?
Okay.
Like and rock and
so
metal.
You're listening to metal music?
Yeah, like Sonata Arctica. These bands like Halloween. Like with the dragons and elves and shit. It's like Lord of the Rings in a song. So I learned a little bit about their tradition through that. And then I wanted to be a musician then, so I went to a music school. So that was fun.
What kind of an instrument did you play, or do you still play?
Guitar, yeah, I still do. Like not good. I'm far from like a knowledgeable professional.
Can we get the guitar out here real quick? I'm just kidding.
All right, I do love Bob Dylan. That's like
I remember you saying that.
Yeah. I listen Bob Dylan almost every week. I would say, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, and I'm so glad he got the Nobel Prize for Literature.
That is weird, so right? Cool.
He did?
Yeah, he got a Nobel Prize for literature, being a songwriter, which is, I think, the first time that has happened in history.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That good.
That's really awesome. Wow, Simon. So, from Chile to Finland, how does an exchange student in Finland go from that to having one of the biggest YouTube channels in Chile talking about cannabis? How does that connect?
Well, cannabis was always part of my life since 15 or 16. So it was there. And I come from a very conservative country. So that means that they're very Catholic, most of them, most of us, myself included. It's not that I'm Catholic, but I was raised Catholic, right? I don't go to church or none of that shit. Sorry, with respect. But sorry about that.
I mean, that's a lot of, I think, as we're like, a lot of our generation is not going to church as much as our previous generation. That's a very common thing.
I don't deny
now.
anything. I just like the rules of an old book with a carpenter walking on the water is not my thing, I would say.
I understand that.
But I would still believe in like something connecting us.
Yeah.
I can
like
feel
a higher power.
I can feel it, I can feel also I understand what's good and bad. So that's something also universal that caught my attention. But yeah, it was highly illegal back in the day when I started smoking. Like you could get cops in your houses, just like raiding your house. And if they caught you with 6 plants, you would go to jail and shit. So,
oh, wow. So
it quickly became a stigma and also like a flag for me, like a banner for a fight, right? And luckily my parents were supportive enough to let me know that you're not an asshole, man. You're
not doing anything wrong.
You're not allowed to do it in my house. My dad said, but don't ever don't let anybody to tell you that you're an asshole, especially if you know that you're not.
Yeah.
Like don't override what you know because of what someone else would say. Dude.
Yeah, from
That's
a
being an asshole.
societal. That's solid
That
parenting
is
right
great.
there.
He's like, I won't let you do it here.
Dude, you're not allowed.
I'm still your dad. I'm still don't want you to be smoking up the house,
Yeah.
but you're not any less of a human being because you want to partake
Don't
instead of
give
go
a
get a
fuck
drink.
about them,
Yeah, that's
right?
awesome. Shout
Yeah,
out to
that
your
was
dad.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout
That's
out to Pops.
super cool.
Yeah, shout out to Pops. Thank you.
That's amazing. Okay,
Love
so you
that.
were just experimenting. You were just smoking. Just well, is there a reason you started smoking? Was it like anxiety, food, or just because is there a reason for the continuous consumption? I guess.
I had older cousins, so they were already in college when I was 16, so they already knew this, and I always looked up to them. They were super smart. They were like in the best college in my country, studying to be what's the word, like law school.
Oh,
Like,
lawyers.
lawyers. Yeah, and they are lawyers already. And top of their class, they have PhDs and shit. Like
Oh,
they're
wow.
smart asses.
So it's a great example of like consuming cannabis and still being able to be very
Exactly.
successful.
So
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to waste my life because of weed, right? Because I could see that happening. So
Yeah.
I think that's what got me started in a safe way also, because they were young, but they were smart,
Yeah.
right? They wouldn't do like stupid shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I liked myself high. I think I'm like, I like how I am when I'm high.
Yeah, you're funny.
Yeah.
You're very open minded.
Yes. That's very important.
You know.
No boundaries for pleasure. I'm just kidding.
He's so funny.
This is so funny, guys.
Oh
no,
my
not
God.
kidding. He's not kidding. Very open minded.
Yes. Can I spark this?
Oh, please do.
All
I'm
right,
finishing
guys.
up my roll up too, so we can spark it as
Yeah.
well.
I love how we use different consumption methods and we can all share them.
Yep.
So like
Absolutely.
it's something basic but beautiful about like cannabis culture internationally, right?
I think
Like,
it allows people to kind of show, there's different types of ways to even roll a joint.
yeah, exactly.
And then you have people who, might come from more of a cigar culture who like
Yeah.
to roll the blunts. And
Well, I
it's
just
so
met
awesome.
a girl. Her name is Ari, and she rolls a joint, and then she calls them barber shops. And she takes
Yep.
a blunt wrap and she twists it around, so it looks like the barber shop, twist.
So it's like a half and half.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so cool. Like, and I've never seen that before. Like, so I just thought that was really awesome. So definitely, like,
Yeah.
you link up with more stoners, you really get a chance to see how everybody adds their own personal twist to it.
Our
creativity
culture is
is-
beautiful. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Simon, how was Unvoila born? And when was it born? How did it start? Like, I'm so curious about everything around it.
So Pascual and I would get high. And
Pasquale's your brother.
my brother who's right over there.
An incredible guy.
So funny.
It's okay.
Well,
He's
I found
okay.
out yesterday during our YouTube video. I mean, you just be walking around farting on him nonstop. So
That's
Well,
brotherly love for
It's
sure.
brothers.
That's the way that you show
Not
your brother you
incest,
love him.
Though it's very important. There's a line between farting is okay, shitting on your brother sexually is incest.
we found that out.
Which
Yeah.
could
Never
also be
have I
okay
ever-
if they both want.
No,
Not my
No,
case.
I don't know.
Let's
I don't
move
know.
forward from this topic.
Yeah. Let's
I
push
don't know what y'all
forward.
be doing in Chile,
Open
but
your
we gotta.
Chilean culture, we're not so
Very
Catholic
open-minded.
anymore. No, but we would get high and just do you remember this website called Hideas?
Yes.
Back in the day, right? Like
Yeah.
when like no stoner things. It was like High Times and then these guys on
Yes.
internet. And we would like laugh so much at these like shower thoughts, basically, right? So
Mhm.
we started doing our own, and we would text to each other these like thoughts.
Yeah.
And one time, a friend of us discovered this chat between us, and he started laughing his ass off. And he says, like, "Dude, you should publish this." And back in the day, Tumblrs were like kind of the thing.
Tumblr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tumblr is big.
Yeah. So the first thing I learned how to do was like how to make a Tumblr online. So I did my own website. And the main thing I think that was like crucial to the whole community of Unvoila was that it was an open source. Like anybody could go and post their own ideas.
Oh, okay.
And
Like
that's what
okay.
created a community
Wow.
13 years ago, almost 14 years ago.
So it started on Tumblr, and you just had something where people felt comfortable to come in and drop their own types
Do you
of
still
cannabis.
have the Tumblr page?
Not the same, but we have the .cl, our website, and we're about to open a new space. We move it to Discord a little bit.
I
Okay.
love Discord.
Discord's incredible.
Discord
Discord's
is
fucking
incredible.
awesome.
Yeah.
And if you guys, I don't know if you do any live streaming on Twitch or like Kick or anything like that.
We did, and we're gonna do it again now.
You
but
should.
You have to.
The
It was you who encouraged me to
Good.
that.
I'm
I
trying
was
to push
What
everybody.
is Twitch? At first, I was like, and she's like, "Oh, dude, come on."
Because
sit
there's
down."
not that many stoners on there yet. And I really I think everybody needs to get on there, especially with how difficult Instagram is becoming. Like it's
Yeah.
getting
100%.
it's getting more and more difficult every year to post content and to gather new audience and stuff. So Twitch is huge. But for me personally, I've had it in my Discord chat for a while. The most it pops off is when I started live streaming. Because after the live stream, let's say we live streamed, and when Mark scared us, people want to talk about that after. And a lot of them, they don't have a roommate or a friend that also watches, the same channel. So it's like,
It is a community.
when you try to come up to someone, you're like, oh my God, this happened. They don't know. It's like, they don't get excited. Then you don't even want to share as much anymore. So it's cool when you can talk to the same people.
And you can't really have those discussions on Instagram.
No, because you use the word cannabis and now
you don't
it's
get the
already
feedback.
flagged.
Yeah, exactly.
Super cool. Yeah, I love Discord, Twitch. I'm so excited to see you guys on Twitch.
Yeah,
So-
like as hard as like platforms can be on the cannabis community, it's also like this. Just like this happening is amazing. This is due to social media too, right?
100%.
Like
Without social media, we wouldn't want to be doing and creating
We
these types
got
of
connected
things.
because like we knew that there are other cannabis communities in different parts of the world that through their ambassadors, right?
Yeah.
Like through social media, content creators, and so I think that's also a powerful tool.
Huge,
Absolutely.
because to be honest with you, like I just was not fully aware of everything.
the
You could
ashtray?
ash it right here.
Really?
I separate it. Everybody hates it, but I don't care.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely
That's
the
a thing.
biggest like 50-50
That's my red
call.
flag.
Yeah, that is your red flag. I
That is
ash
my
on
red
my
flag.
rolling tray.
Yeah, no, I do. Here's the thing, though. I clean it up after, but it's okay. No, honestly, I had mentioned this to you before, but like, it's obviously so easy to be upset with these platforms when they don't allow you to shine, And I'm sure you and Pasquale often think about how far would the Unvoila be, or your Instagram channel, if there wasn't restrictions, if we were able to post like beauty content creators, like fashion, lifestyle,
Wellness.
where would we be? But with that being said, anytime there's a deterrent, it provides you an opportunity to either like really be down on about it or to grow somewhere else. And as difficult as it is, especially when you grow an audience and I post and people are going to like and there'll be comments, starting somewhere else with zero is hard because you already had that audience. I think it is really important to go to as many platforms as possible being in the cannabis industry, because if YouTube gets down or Instagram gets down, immediately people think, oh my God, I got blocked. They don't think, that people getting deleted so much in the cannabis industry. So it's beautiful to see that you're going to be going to Twitch because you have such a massive, platform on YouTube. You have such a massive, several accounts on Instagram, huge. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to do on Twitch, because then I'll be able to pop in and see what you're up to, you know? And
Twitch-
it's not edited. It's just raw. Here's what we're doing. Get to know me, get to know my friends, get to know what we're doing. It's really fucking cool.
Yeah,
Twitch
it
is so
fucking cool.
international too, which I love that.
Yeah, that's so
There's
true.
there's so many people from other countries just doing their thing on there. But I think the cool thing about having all of these social media platforms is it kind of pushes the creativity, right? Because what you can post on Instagram, you can't post on TikTok. What you can post on Twitter, it might not work on Instagram. And it kind of forces creators to kind of go in multiple different directions with their content, which
But
I
it's
think is
hard
cool.
because at the same
It is
time, while it
very
pushes you
hard.
to be creative somewhere else, it is very draining because you feel like, man, it took me 4 hours to film, edit, post this video. It
Yeah.
got deleted within 30 minutes, you know?
That's so true.
I think that's something that is lost in content creation is the amount of time. It is very hard
Coming up with the idea,
to be
filming it,
consistent, to be funny all the time, to be creative. It's very draining, very mentally draining.
I will say this, it's really awesome to see TikTok pop up and see all the TikTok trends that go on, because it's really cool when a trend pops up and seeing everybody put their own personal twist on it.
Oh, I love it.
And I enjoy seeing it being brought into the cannabis community and
The
it's
cultural
just really
Twitch.
cute.
Yes,
Yeah, and everybody
yes.
will hear a song or a sound and know exactly where it's from and put their
Yeah.
little twist on it. It's really cool.
I love that too. Also, it generates a landscape that you need to know how to read, right? Like,
Yes.
for example, Snapchat, big in the
Different.
US, not big in Latin America, for example.
Oh,
Snapchat
really?
has died down here
Wow.
a lot too.
I know, it's a thing. Like Facebook was big down there and now has like totally disappeared. Like
That's like here. I think Facebook kind of is now
Facebook
for
is
the
like our
40 and
parents.
over.
Yeah.
it's like a ghost town now. It feels like you know,
100%.
with the tumbleweed and shit.
Because I feel like Facebook was a lot of like bragging to the people that know you, people you went to school with, people you were in the same town with. It's like, oh, look, I bought a house. Oh, look, I got married. Oh, look, I have a kid. That's kind of what I see it as. Sure, you're like showcasing to your like friends, but a lot of it is like, hey, I went to school with you and I wasn't doing good. I'm doing good now.
It does have that. How do you call that book that
A
everyone?
Rolodex.
The one that they give you at the end of the year with
Yearbook.
everyone's
Oh no,
picture?
a yearbook.
It's a yearbook.
It's a yearbook.
That's kind of what that feels like. For me, other
100%.
social media platforms are like, I want to reach new people.
Yes.
You know, I'm not really trying to keep tabs on Susie from middle school. Like, good for you, Susie. We didn't bond then. We're not going to bond now.
That,
you know, like,
that is really true. Because
Yeah.
I don't think I follow on Instagram or Twitter anybody from like when I was growing up, but that's all that my Facebook was
Same.
my immediate circle.
Exactly.
Wow.
And to your point, like TikTok and Instagram provide trends,
Yes.
which is something
Yes.
that Facebook didn't have because it was like a closed circuit.
Close circle. It's just
Yeah.
who you follow. I won't lie. Sometimes I miss the times when I open my Instagram and I see the posts from people I actually follow instead of everybody else I don't know.
Yes.
But it's just with it. Speaking of social media platforms and stuff, do you have a favorite platform to post? It doesn't necessarily have to be your most successful one, but what is your favorite where you feel like you're the most connected with your audience?
That's a really fucking good question.
Yeah.
And I think about this quite a bit. Like one of the cousins that I was telling you about, he went to this fancy school, not Oxford, it's like the London School of Economics, right?
Oh, whoa.
Fancy shit,
You
right?
come from a smart family, it sounds like.
Yeah, we were poor as fuck 3 generations ago, and for some reason, like my great grandma, like she decided that no more.
We're changing it up.
Yeah, and she was left alone with 5 kids, and so nobody knows in my family how she managed to put them in university.
Wow.
But they all got scholarships because they were poor. So the only way to get it was like, dude, you're doing this
Shout
shit.
out to her.
Shout out to Grandma,
Shout out
the
to
matriarch.
Salome.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
But then this dude told me, hey, a fun thing that or interesting thing that we're studying here in this university, there's like this group of PhDs that are doing their thesis on how can they measure, they can actually measure how social media makes you unhappier or more sad.
Absolutely.
You know?
I can
They
say yes.
quantify that. So the part to answer the question, the part of my job that I like is creation. This part, like the connection. Whenever it's done filming and we have to post it in a social media and wait for reactions and likes and comments, then it's
worrisome.
it's like I know it's part of the job, but still it feels so like inhuman, like to distant. And what we want to do is to bring people together.
You're
Yes.
gonna love live streaming then,
Yeah,
because that's gonna be So what platform do you think is your?
we love YouTube for information, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good information platform, right? When people
Nice
want to know
long form.
how to do something, where to go, how to fix. I like that part. I think it's useful as a tool. Instagram is fun. I think that's good for creativity, to showcase what you're working on, to let people, to bring them closer a little and generate an actual community and a little bit more feedback. And then I don't know. I think we're going more and more into Spotify lately because it's so cannabis friendly in a way, and like we're also tired of fighting with an algorithm and broccoli, whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
That's annoying. It's
draining.
It's also worse for everyone. Like you don't want your kid to listen broccoli. You need to know it's called cannabis or weed or marijuana.
Yeah, there's no need to confuse anybody.
Exactly. Please, it's not broccoli, right?
Yeah, it's
like
not.
They're not talking about alcohol and they're like this juice, and then you confusing people that what you're talking about. Like they're saying this beer, this wine, this tequila,
Exactly.
Very
absolutely.
specific.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So we are like also watching what you guys are doing all the time, right? On daily basis. Of course. It's important. And we follow your lead quite a bit on what's happening. You guys are bringing all this like new stuff that's fresh all the time, and I think that's like very inspiring.
We're trying, honestly. Like I gotta tell you, like Instagram for me has been very difficult.
This woman did like 3 fucking shows yesterday. I was there to witness that.
3
like,
shows, a
3
YouTube video, and a live stream.
2-hour live streaming, probably 20 dubs podcast, like episode?
Yeah, I was telling him 15 to 20 dabs is what
15
we
to
took.
20.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a lot
I
of
did
dabs.
the small version. Like you, I don't know how you do it
On
honestly.
a day-to-day basis. Yeah, she's a machine.
I love my
Machine.
job. I love what I do. That's why like it does get to me, you know, because I really want to share more and more of it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, getting censored on these platforms, like again, I'm sure you feel that. It's like it's hard because you put
Right.
so much time into it, you get super excited to share it, and then either you get like negative feedback or something, or it just gets deleted or something, and it kind of makes you reserved on sharing more and posting more often, you know. Then it's hard, you know.
Yeah.
That's why I give massive props to anybody and everybody that's just keeping going, regardless if 5 people are watching, 500 or 5,000.
Yeah.
Like in reality, it could be up one day, down the other day. You just got to keep it going and not even pay attention to the rest of that, you know?
Good advice. Also, because we are pioneers in a way, right? We're exploring, and
Yes.
part of exploring is being uncomfortable and having to change your plans
And
all the
failing.
time. Yeah, and failing all the time.
Yeah.
That's a part of growth.
This is like the
100%.
successful part that you guys are seeing. Like behind there's so much failure.
Yeah.
Like absorbed in the good way, which is a lesson.
A
right?
lesson, yes.
Like exactly. It's knowledge. But there's so
100%.
much failure.
For
Like,
sure.
You hit your face in the wall so many times.
Yeah. The rage room has become a frequent visit, you know?
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my
Simon, you're a father, you're a dad.
Yes.
It's so admirable because
I
you
love you,
are
dude.
everywhere.
Oh.
Every time I check your pages, you are working, you're collabing with people, you're filming, you're traveling. How do you manage the life that you have between being a parent and being an entrepreneur, and but also being a world entrepreneur where you do have to be gone a lot?
Yeah, it is a thing. It is a topic that has caused many conversations with his mother. So it's something that we have been working on. Luckily, I have amazing people around me, really, like, and I have the possibility of talk through these topics with love first, with empathy. And
That's important.
and also with priorities. I think that's very important.
Mhm.
Even though I travel a lot, like I don't touch the time with my son, right? There's not a meeting, not a business meeting that can take me away from my time with him. I'll rather be doing a puzzle or going for a walk or whatever
I love
than
that.
anything else. And that I don't
That's
touch.
awesome.
Sometimes I will say like, dude, I have to travel, so I'm gonna skip a few like moments that I had planned with you. But I'm always very present, right? That's the one thing first, right?
And he understands, right? Because he's 8. So is he like kind of aware that you have to go on these trips? It's,
but
you
I
know?
bring him sometimes with me to these trips.
Oh man.
I think it's the only 8-year-old that has been to so many cannabis conventions around the world. Like he's been to
Wow.
Bensing in Miami, to the Expo Cannabis in Argentina. He has gone with my friends to Uruguay, right?
And how
So
does he feel about that when he gets to like see this world that a lot of
he
you
loves
know,
it because it's
does?
a happy world. I show him my friends, the people I love, the people I respect, and I show him that part. And he knows that cannabis and that smoking is bad for your health, and cannabis, it's a substance that generates bad things in your body. He has like the kids version of
Yeah.
But he's learning the knowledge and to respect it instead of
Exactly.
to fear it. And
exactly.
it's coming
No
from
fear.
a place. Yeah.
Exactly.
And like you said, he gets to see there's so much love in this community. There's so much positivity.
Dude,
And
my-
especially with you, you are
Oh,
a
dude.
beacon of light.
Yeah, you really are.
do.
Dude,
Your
don't
energy
say
is
that.
just infectious. So
No,
I'm
let's
sure
don't
he
get
sees
emotional.
that.
you
and
are a bug zapper, that blue light, and then like we're all the bugs that are like, I have to see what it is.
Yeah.
Like you really do have that energy for
You're
sure.
Thank you
incredible.
for
You,
that
and your
comment.
brother. I love both of you. You guys are incredible.
Do you
It
share?
means a lot coming from you guys.
No,
because
we
and
appreciate you a
this,
lot.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I grab it.
My phone.
Do you share publicly about like, you know, your openness about the cannabis industry and the cannabis plant with your son? Is your audience aware about like how supportive you are in like, you know, just being open about it because you know that you're not doing anything wrong?
Yeah. It's always been like that a little. Like the speech it's science and education, and that's what I will provide for my son on every topic, not just cannabis, right? This is all the information I have, and this is the best I can do for you because I'm not gonna be there when it's not cannabis, when it's something else, right? And something else can be substances or different kind of shit that's bad for you,
Mhm.
right? So I need to raise a smart, independent person that's gonna be able to make right choices and mistakes as well. And he's
Yeah.
gonna mistake, and there's no way I can avoid that to
Human.
happen. Exactly.
Yes.
So I'm doing my best. I think being there with love is the first thing, regardless the mistakes that I'm making myself as a dad. I'll try to be there, like, with also willing to learn myself of my mistakes that I make so many times, like all the time, all the fucking time, dude. I'm sorry about that, man.
No, it's okay. Listen, we're human. Do you
But
make content telling, kind of, not like pushing people, but advocating people to speak to their children about the cannabis plant a little bit more?
Yeah, we did a couple of videos on how to tell my parents and how to tell my kids about cannabis.
I love that.
And based on our own experience and science, and being very clear about the biases we might have. Right, I think that's very important to put on the table.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to say like, hey,
They're
here's
gonna
the
think
thing.
you're a bad parent because you're educating your kid about the plant. Yeah.
But you can say, hey, I'm a cannabis consumer, so I need to communicate this to my family and kids and my beloved my loved ones. But also I know what I am, right? So I'm a highly functional professional that's full of, love and goodwill for the people around me. And I'm not lazy. I wake up very early. So I don't think I'm in a bad place, and so cannabis consumption doesn't look like it's, taking the best out of my life, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
And I think that people do that with alcohol as well. Like, that your mom's having a glass of wine.
Exactly. Yes.
You know that it's, when you're a child, it's not for you. and you I feel like they teach that with alcohol just so inherently. So it's good to see that.
But it's frustrating because it's like a thing like, go bring mommy a glass of wine. Can you bring daddy a beer? Like, but if somebody was like, can you bring me my rolling tray? Be like, you are a terrible parent.
100%.
I honestly think
like
I would love to see more content from you advocating for the parents, educating and kind of leading, in the information about cannabis with their kids.
Yeah.
Because for me personally, like, we talked about having kids, and I've thought about in the past if I would want to like be, open and like really an advocate for cannabis parenting, and it worried me. Obviously, I'm not even in that area yet, but we get judged so much. And I've even like, I've nannied, I've like, I've been around kids, and even I've gotten messages like, oh, how are you hanging out with kids? And then you're on a live stream and it's like, I'm on their level of creativity right now. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm on, and and it's hard. So I like frequently psyched myself out, that it's like, oh fuck, I'm worried about moving forward on having kids sooner rather than later, because I feel like I'm gonna have to choose the cannabis world or the kids world. So to me, you are a great example in how you're able to manage both and be very open about it.
But we're following
your
your
lead.
lead.
Have to choose, I think, like, and I try to stay conscious about that, like. Those choices are sometimes we establish that like opposition or that binary that is not there. Like I think the important thing is that if I'm a father, like my kid is not exposed to places with smoke, right?
Right.
Or that
he's still safe.
And he's safe and in a happy place for a kid and taken care of, and that he feels that his father is connected to him emotionally and he's available for him, right? That's the thing. Other than that, dude, enjoy your life is short.
Because kids are smart too.
No, they're so smart.
And
especially
there's
like
no hiding.
They're getting
There's
smarter
no
and smarter.
hiding.
And
And the worst thing is like stop trusting your parents because they're hiding shit from you.
I'm gonna be honestly, I think when
That's
you're
what
hiding it, that doesn't help the stigma. Because if you are hiding it and then you're like, oh, the stigma is that we're lazy and we're this and we're that, then that is part of the problem. You can't be hiding it.
bad.
That's honestly why, like, I post about it publicly. I told my mom from beginning when I was smoking weed, very open with my friends and stuff. But because it's like, if I can post about it online and we can all talk about it online, I want to encourage like you to at least share, to any listener, like tell your partner, tell your parent, share it with them, because it will bring you closer together. Like cannabis has brought me so much closer together with people. The higher we get, the more deeper of conversations we get into,
100%.
It's unmatched. Nothing I would have ever been able to reach with alcohol,
So true. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're not having deep conversations, especially that you're going to remember.
You are, but you're not going to remember them.
Yeah.
I love you, bitch.
Alcohol.
I'm never going to stop loving you. That's that's pretty much the limit of those conversations.
Yeah, it's nothing against alcohol, but like drunk people are hardly ever like supportive, or it's something that enriches the ecosystem.
Agreed.
Like that's the thing. You have to like add, leave it better than you find it. That's the whole point of like this, right?
the whole
Especially
point of
when it
life.
comes to kid.
Yeah.
right? Like
Absolutely.
that's the thing. And also, but I think nature is so wise. If you're listening, like like it will come to you, right? If you guys want to have kids, I think like, and you are like aware of it, it will happen naturally, and you'll be the best fucking mom ever, right?
I know she
Yeah,
will. She really
of
will.
course. Just like you
She's
just
so
have to be
loving, so
connected
caring.
to it.
Thank
And that's
you,
it,
guys.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Listen, Simon, I love you, but this podcast is about you. Let's focus on you.
Oh, no,
You
but-
did something so cool last year. I want to put emphasis on that. You went to Easter Island and you planted how many cannabis seeds on that island?
We connected with a lot of growers over there that were so interested in.
I didn't even know Easter Island had a lot of growers over there.
I didn't know that there was really a population at all.
There
Honestly,
you go.
yes. I
Yeah.
also thought it was just an island with the big heads and that's it. You just come look and you leave.
Because
No,
it's far. It's located
Rapa
in a
Nui
very
it's
tough place to
the
get to.
there's a word for that when you're like far from everything continental, the like farthest place.
Lost.
Or
You're
No,
fucking lost.
lost.
Okay?
yeah, but they have more in common with Polynesian culture than they do with Chile by far, right? They're Polynesian
Okay.
for starters, so
Okay.
they look like Hawaiians or Tahitians. That's their heritage, of course, with wide difference between the cultures.
Yes.
But it's an amazing, rich, strong culture. They are proud. They are like beautiful and strong, and that the place is. I had so many preconceptions that I got that got erased by the experience that we had, and especially the cannabis community over there is strong. They call it moke.
Moke.
Moke. And it's beautiful, the connection they have with everything, not only with this plant, with all the plants.
Yeah.
They're fucking amazing growers. Imagine like harvesting in an island. It's hard, right?
yeah.
So it's beautiful. It was an honor for me to be there.
How many seeds did you guys sprinkle through that island?
20,000, I would say.
20,000.
Yeah.
Have you gotten any updates? Because this was
That wasn't me, I want to say. Like it was like Zurdo is an amazing person, and I think you met him. He's the founder of Positronics,
Mhm.
and Positronics is such an amazing seed bank, and we had like an amazing relation with him.
That's so cool.
So they brought a lot of seeds for growers over there.
This was
and-
when, like, not last October, the October before
I would
that,
say
right?
2 years ago.
Yeah.
3?
Have you guys gotten right?
2.
Have you guys gotten updates on like the seats? Like, have they like their pictures or videos or anything? Can we include them
Yes.
on this podcast, please?
Yeah.
What does it look like?
We can show some, but also like there's a thing, they are very secretive with their locations because there's a lot of thievery between like they steal a lot of plants and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're very.
We won't show you where these are at, but look at how pretty.
How do you spread 20,000 seeds?
We gave them to local growers that came to a seminar that we did on how to how different varieties could eventually adapt better to the island.
Oh, okay.
But they also have their own variety, cannabis variety that adapted specifically to Easter Island.
That probably can't grow anywhere else.
No, they have it also in Polynesia and in Australia. It's
Okay.
called the duck's foot. And
Duck's
it's
foot?
a mutation. We can see that in screen now, hopefully.
Oh, please.
And it's a mutation in which the cannabis leaf is gonna only have like 3 leaves.
What?
And they resemble the foot of a duck. That's why
the
it's called.
foot of a duck?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to
Correct.
see this.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
It's insane. It's like,
cannabis
yeah.
mutation.
Of course, it's nothing comparing trichomes to anything that you guys have here, but it's beautiful in its own way.
It's
right?
not about the strongest plant
Yeah.
either.
True.
I want to see the different
Exactly.
styles, the different grow ways, the different environments in which they've had to tailor it. Yeah,
yes,
that's what it's
that's
all
the
about.
treasure.
I
Yeah.
like the terpenes. That's like, and something like that would have a very unique terpene profile.
Totally.
That to me is the coolest part. The getting
Yes.
high is awesome, and I do love it. But my real fascination comes from the terpene profiles and how it can taste like different fruits and different things. So I would love to be able to try that.
Well,
I
let's
agree.
go.
I agree. Let's go. Because I definitely missed out 2 years ago. I still kick myself about that.
Nah, we can make it happen again.
I
We
would
go from
love that.
Patagonia over to Easter Island or what?
Yeah, we can do that. Totally.
So obviously you've probably gotten to experience and do so many things I don't even know about. Is there another experience that you have had that was very similar to this, that kind of incorporated a very beautiful travel experience and the cannabis plant and something unique that you were able to do?
Yeah, totally. we created this cannabis documentary series called Very Happy.
Mm-hmm.
The
Great name.
first one was in Uruguay when they legalized in 2013. So we took a plane. Everything okay?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So we took a plane to Uruguay, and then that was the first time that we filmed how history was made, and then how a country fully legalized weed.
Wow.
Right. So that was our first documentary. And
Wow.
then we realized, dude, we need to tell the story. There's so many people involved. There's so many, everything, so much culture behind what's happening with cannabis around the world.
Wasn't that the government official guy that you were just telling us about that
Pepe
unfortunately
Mujica, who passed away yesterday.
Well, for our
Yes.
filming, it was a couple of days ago when you guys are hearing this, but so unfortunate because you had nothing but nice things to say about him as far as
He's
like
an
an official goes.
inspiration. He's like a Greek philosopher for Latin America. He's a huge, huge inspiration for like so many people.
He's a model for how I think national and world leaders should be.
Yeah.
A very modest guy who was fully about the people.
Exactly. And even though you don't agree with his ideas, he was committed to them, and he was respectful to different ideas, and he was a very consequent person, right? He would live as he believed.
Mhm.
He was like, he rejected like high budgets for anything. He wouldn't fly on like first class or presidential planes. But besides that, he was honest. And I think it's one of the few politicians that I've ever trusted, I believe.
I hope that they follow, his footsteps, and whoever comes into power there now is going to follow the same beliefs, and it's not going to be too shifted to a totally different type of person.
We need better people in politics, man.
Yes.
All around,
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm Ukrainian born and raised, so we're dealing with a lot over there as well. It's anywhere you look, really, and it's really, really tough,
It's sad.
Yeah.
But I think this is why it's so important, like, to really take a moment and realize that like we're all different for a reason. And I think that's why it's so cool that we get to learn so many different things from each other because we're so different. But then sometimes I think we forget that we are different, and it takes a moment for everybody to learn, different things. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, where it comes to the cannabis plant, for example. Somebody might come from a background, a family, or a culture where a plant is so much more accepted. I come from the Ukrainian culture where drinking is like, I'd rather you drink than smoke weed,
Yeah.
So I think just really taking the time to understand that we're all super different, being just a little bit more accepting of each other. I think within the last half a decade or so, we've gotten the whole like, I'm right, you're wrong. I don't hear a lot of let's just agree to disagree. I respect your opinion. This is where I come from. I'm open to changing my opinion if you can provide some more feedback, some more backup information. I think we've lost that a little bit over the last half a decade or so.
And this guy, Pepe Mujica, spoke about that also. And he was so wise about it. And I remember he was saying like, dude, the only thing we need to do is
Respect
agree on like three things.
Yeah.
Three things that we managed to agree with in this government. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And from that thought, I keep thinking it's so easy to acknowledge what you don't agree with someone else. The trick and the good thing is to find what you do agree with someone else and focus on that
and bond on that
and build on that.
Well, and also we change, right? Like as human beings so much. We have to. We're supposed. If you're not changing, you're not growing, right? I used to be anti-cannabis as fuck. I'll be honest with you. I was in a very verbally abusive relationship, and it was a person who was a very heavily cannabis smoker. Because of all the stigma, because of the lack of a positive representation of the plant, I thought that was all because of his cannabis consumption.
Yeah.
And then it took me a couple of years to come around to that. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to have different experiences and be like, fuck, I was wrong. My point of view was wrong. You were wrong. We didn't see it the same. I see it the way that you see it now. And not being afraid to say that. Nothing's wrong. If anything, it's very admirable to make a statement like, dude, I was wrong. I see it different now. So glad you introduced me to this side of this.
Exactly.
Whatever
Plus,
it is, the plant, whatever point of view it is.
Learning and understanding.
Yeah. Plus, we're so little in the universe, so that it's so hard that we're right about anything.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely.
We're like kids trying to figure things out. So why bother so much about what's wrong? Just do what you think is best, for sure. Try to meet some good people, collaborate, just and really that's where a lot of happiness and beauty is going to be born. For sure. For sure.
That's incredible. So coming up in the next 6 months, kind of walk us through, because I know you do a lot of traveling. Where
We
are
are
the
doing
next
a lot of
trips?
traveling.
We are doing a lot of
But
traveling.
you're
Yes,
also
exactly.
probably
This
working
is
on
our
some-
agenda we're gonna talk about.
But you're probably also working on some projects and stuff aside from that. You know, we'd love to know about that. What do you have coming up?
Yeah, well, very happy. Very happy the series became a thing in which we started shooting documentaries about how cannabis community like unfolds in the world and who are the people behind these stories. That's the whole thing.
I love that.
Like
Cool.
stories behind cannabis, right? And then from that moment on Easter Island, something changed. It was the first time we invited our sponsors to come along.
I love that.
Oh, nice.
And Zurdo became part of the story because he is like a character. And then I something clicked and I said, like, this is it. Let's bring everyone on the documentary.
Yeah.
Let's start inviting people because we can share this with everyone. And then it actually turned out to be like a moving event around the world
Oh, I love
in
that.
which all the friends tap in and we gather around mostly food. there's a lot of eating.
Food and weed.
Food and yes, exactly. And
The
we
best
all
combo.
love food, right? Like there's not a single stoner that doesn't like good food, right? So we have a blast all around. We communicate with local culture deeply. That's very important for Very Happy, is to be humble, to be able to absorb the experience that you're going to get by, getting in there with local friends that are going to help you. So
Oh, I love that.
so we
That's
ensure
incredible.
an amazing experience, and everyone can tap it. Like everyone in the cannabis community is invited, and all our sponsors are more than happy to provide for our friends, and it's just such a good experience.
And so the next one is Patagonia. Is that it?
Patagonia, yeah, we're shooting the episode is called "Cannabis in the End of the World" and how a cannabis variety adapted for outdoor cultivation
I
down there.
love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
in the
wow.
actual end of the world, it's not an exaggeration.
It's just right there.
Like if you step on the channel, on the Beagle channel, and then next is Antarctica.
Yeah,
That's
That's
like
it.
that's it.
you're right
You
there.
know?
That is
Wow, that is so
wild.
amazing.
And there is cannabis
So
there.
far.
Yeah.
Simon, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time for us here
Thank you
today.
so
You
much.
guys, if you want to check out Simon some more, check out Unvoila on YouTube, check out Simon's Instagram account, but also check out our Around the Globe podcast that we
Yes.
do. There's a lot of really great names, great faces on there, and
So
lots of
beautiful.
incredible stories. We appreciate you guys. We love you, and we will be seeing you at the next episode. Have a good one.
Later.
Bye bye.